So I was going to come in and tell you I really love it out here. So where I am, I'm out by Bennett Springs Park, and I've got a lot of what you've got in your backyard. You've got the crickets, you've got the peepers, you've got the nature. I see all your cattails and all that back here in the backyard. Like you've got the pond back there, something that you just can't see. But then you walk around the front of the place out here, and you've got the highway. You've got all the tires on the road, and like they're the choir part of the show. Right? So for whatever reason, it got me to thinking about that waltz that I had started several years ago that never got finished, and that's why the tires on the highway are the choir part of the show. I don't know, something to think about.
That's cool.
I don't know, my mind's always spinning.
It should be.
It's always spinning. It's always something, man.
Yeah. Before we get into that, guys, welcome back to another episode of Art of the Jam. This is episode number 105, and we are here with a very special guest. This is Jason Golden. What's up, buddy?
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. We only met once, but I was. Not in a weird way, but I was smitten with your personality. I really was. Because you were like, there was a vibe about you, and I was like, there was a vibe about you. I don't know what it is. It's like you're just a very compelling human being, right? But before we get into a conversation here and get to talking, I do have a question for you today, audience, as usual in the tradition of Art of the Jam. Our question for today, and this might be a little too deep for some people. I'm not sure. I think, like I said, I've said in the past, I think of these questions that I don't have answers for, and I'm hoping that you guys can help me a little bit with some of these questions as well, given your own experiences and whatnot. But today's question is, what is a fading memory that you're afraid to lose? And I will repeat, what is a fading memory that you're afraid to lose? That being said, guys, cue the intro. And we are back from the intro. Yeah, enough of that professional intro bullshit that I was in. Sorry. I do have a potty mouth. I don't know if you... put new puppy. She's probably just jumping around up there. But anyways, I don't want to make you too uncomfortable if this is an uncomfortable question for you. And if you don't want to answer anything or talk about anything on here, you just need to just say so, and I'll move on.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. But
I'm kind of curious because I was thinking, I heard this thing on another podcast, and this guy was talking about the instance whenever you they say your life flashes before your eyes, before you succumb to death. And I was thinking about it, and it's basically life in review. He was talking about basically how it's not so much as like your entire life just, but it's like every moment that you've touched somebody or somebody's touched you in your life. It's like, but that got to me in a way, and I was like, I thought about it, and I was like, dude, I don't even know if I've ever done that, or if I've obviously been touched by certain people. I mean, honestly, that's why you're here. Your story was very compelling to me, what you told me of it. But it got me to the point where I was like, where are my memories?
So, so it kind of sounds like what you're asking is what kind of legacy am I going to leave? In a sense,
Yeah, but more
because
so like what's like an instance in your life that you like a cherished memory that you're deathly afraid of it fading away. You know what I mean? Like it could be like a
so initially when you ask the question, I start thinking about people, right? Um, and loss.
right.
You know, you like as an army guy, 10 years in the army. You know, I've lost a lot, and I think about those people that I've lost over those deployments in those 10 years that I served, and those that I've lost since coming home, um, and the memories that I have with those guys, and you know those are pretty those there are some pretty special memories in there. Um, some are some are pretty salty,
Yeah.
some are pretty funny, you know,
Yeah.
some are pretty painful. Um, but you know, nonetheless, they're mine,
Yeah.
and they're all special in their own way, and nobody can take them away from me, um, ever. And that's what makes memories special.
Right.
Um, and I actually wrote a song called Memories, some years back, and that's exactly what it's about. And one of the lines is, "Instead, I'm left with memories, but boy, they're mine."
Like that.
And you know, a lot of my losses come through suicide. You know, we're all aware of the statistic of 22 a day suicide rate for veterans and service members. You know, and I don't know how accurate that statistic is these days, but you know, at the height of the war and there soon after, that statistic was just overwhelmingly accurate.
Yeah.
And there's there's anger that goes with that. There's just so many emotions and feels, and it's just all raw. But at the core of it, you know, you've got memories with all of those folks. Some good, some bad, some funny, some whatever. There's emotions attached to every single one of those memories. There's going to be smells that trigger those memories. There's going to be songs
Right.
that trigger those memories. There's going to be foods. There's going to be, you know, just a multitude of things that trigger random memories,
Yeah.
and they're yours. They're a treasure to keep and to hold and protect. So, you know, as years go and we get older and we, you know, we start saving more and more memories. It's kind of like the memory on a computer gets full and you start
Yeah.
thinking about, oh crap, you know, well, what did that look like? What did that feel like? What did that, you start feel like those memories start to get a little less vivid and a little less.
Yeah.
So how do you hang on to those?
Yeah, that's kind of I guess that's my real question is how do you hang on to
Well,
the memories?
like I said, there's, for me, like my wife makes fun of me because we go to like Home Goods and they've got an aisle of candles.
Yeah.
And man, some of them are just trash. A lot of them are just trash. But I'll sit there and I'll smell those candles because like they take me places. Like
Yeah.
they take me places, man. They take me back to when I was a kid, like to this little place out in the middle of Calhoun County, Mississippi, that I haven't been to since I was, you know, 3 years old.
Yeah.
They take me to a place in Memphis, Tennessee, that I hadn't been to since I was 5 years old. But for whatever reason, they unlock a core memory. Scent is a big memory
Yeah.
unlocker for me.
Yeah.
And I would dare say it is for a lot of people. But outside of that, man, songs, music. And this is something we talked about when we met last month at the jam night. Man, music is a time machine. It can take you anywhere in the world you want to go, to any time, to any place, to wherever. If you don't like where you are, change the station.
Okay, I want to show you something. I do a little bit of research. I literally wrote "change the station" because I remembered that from what you said, and I was like, I don't remember the whole thing you said about it, but I was like, I remember that saying, and I loved it so much because I think just that saying can help a lot of people.
Man, you know? It's picked me up a lot of days.
Yeah, this is the thing about music unlocking memories and it being a time machine and the concept of it being a time machine. It's like I've had songs throughout my life where like it absolutely without a doubt reminds me and takes me back to a certain point in my life, but the more I listen to it, the more it starts to define a new time.
Absolutely.
And so it's like the memory isn't fading, but the song and its meaning changes throughout time and defines a different era of my life.
You mean like growth?
Yeah, I guess it is kind of growth. Yeah.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. That is I never thought of that way. But because I've always been like, why does this not remind me or make me feel the way that it used to? But it makes me feel an entirely different way now.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess you kind of fixed that for me, I think.
Well,
in a way, or opened my eyes a little bit.
We look at, I can't read music, can't write music. I've never taken lessons. I play by ear. I figure it out kind of deal. So I don't know nothing technical. That's what I'm telling you. But I can tell you that music is measured in time, right? But it doesn't have to be like linear,
right?
Like I said, it can take you anywhere you want to go. It doesn't have to be from this point on a page to this point on a page. It doesn't have to be from this staff to this staff. Take you back to when you were a kid. You can take you back to last week. Take you wherever you need to go. If you don't like it, find another song. If you can't find one, write one. And you don't have to be a professional writer to write one, because I'm not. It can start with whatever you're feeling and your fat crayons. I'm angry. Whatever that emotion is, just scribble it hard.
Oh, yeah.
Once that whatever you're passionate about, that feeling, that emotion, once you start to get a little bit of relief, then you come back, why is it that I feel this way? And then you start to unpack it a little bit. Well, I feel this way because. And then you can turn around and start whittling it out a little bit from here, from there, and then you can start making something creative from there. And if you feel stuck, I promise you know somebody that can help you whittle and carve it into something a little cleaner and polished and whatever you want it to be.
Right. Huh. You mentioned whenever I met you, you had a song about, was it Q-Stick?
Oh, yeah, gear grabbing granny.
Yeah.
My grandmother, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me get that pulled up.
Yeah, I think that's while you're looking that up, I do have to mention, every week I do an album of the week, and I grabbed this one, Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison, which is an iconic album if you're, a country music fan or honestly just a music fan in general, because this is historic. But I got it because I love the song Give My Love to Rose. You know that song? Mm-hmm. Okay. For some reason, I've always been infatuated with that song because of its storytelling. Because it's, depicting the guy that's dying, and he comes up to him and he's like, I just got out of prison and I'm trying to get back to Louisiana to give my love to Rose and all my money. And he's like wanting to know his son, and like just the storytelling of the song is so vivid. And I don't want it to seem like I'm blowing smoke up your ass, okay? But whenever the lyrics that you read me, I'm like, that's storytelling. Like, and Give My Love to Rose is like what because you sent me that, you showed me that list of songs that you were like, these are the songs I listen to learn how to write, or or
They take me home.
Yeah. And then you
They
sent me
kind
that
of ground me.
you sent me that song earlier from that Jamie Johnson song, and I was just kind of like, Give My Love to Rose is like my template
Sure,
to when it
absolutely.
comes to like a song. Like, I don't write like that. I'll be honest. I'm my band is not anything like this. I mean, there might be a little story elements in there.
Sure.
Every song tells some sort of story,
Absolutely.
but it's not like this. But Give My Love to Rose is like a song that at any time it kind of surprises people sometimes, because like I had a question on the show not too long ago, and then I was on someone else's podcast, and they had like viewer questions, and one of those questions was, if you could write any song, what would it have been? And my answer is always Give My Love to Rose by Johnny Cash, because if it's pure, it's if you can play a movie to people, do you know what I mean? Like, if you can paint a beautiful picture with words and literally give an image to somebody,
Right.
that's where it's at.
Yes. Man, it's so hard. I've thought about that very concept, exact thing so many times, and man, I don't. It's hard to just for me to pick one song. That's why I've got a list of 10.
Yeah.
And man, it was hard for me to come up with 10. And if you ask me next week to come up with a list of 10, I think that list would be different. Where I am emotionally, is gonna play a factor in that. But for that list that I did come up with, I think those are pretty well a good foundation. But man, where I am in my season of life, that list changes.
Yeah.
And but that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But fun story about that. And my grandmother, speaking of gear grabbing granny and Johnny Cash, she always told me a story. Growing up in Mississippi, and her family being from the Starkville area, she always told me a story about Johnny Cash coming to Starkville and getting arrested, and getting put in jail in Starkville, and writing a song about getting thrown in the Starkville City Jail for picking flowers. So if you look, you can find it in the on the YouTubes about. There's a song being. I cannot think of the name of it, but it's about him getting thrown in jail in Starkville City Jail for picking flowers.
That's awesome.
My wife found it on YouTube not long ago, and I said, "That's the song." My grandmother had been telling me that story my whole life, and I finally heard it the other day. I think it might have been the second time I've heard it my whole life. And but yeah, she lived that whole history of country music. The documentary that Ken Burns did, on PBS. My wife and I have watched that. We love that, all that stuff. I nerd out on all the music documentaries.
Oh yeah, same.
And my grandmother, we brought her up to visit, and we had it playing in the background, and she's watching it, and she's telling us stuff that, well, this happened and that happened, and 5 minutes later they'd talk about it on the documentary. And then she'd say something else. Well, this happened and that happened, and 5 minutes later on the documentary they'd talk, and the exact thing that she would say, they'd talk about it later, and she'd never seen it. She just lived it. But like we talked about, my grandmother was a truck driver. She started driving an 18-wheeler around 1960, 1961, and she stopped driving an 18-wheeler around 1989. And that's where this gear grabbing came from. Yeah. And so there's a story about my grandmother. They used to run in teams. Several trucks would run together, and they had pulled over at this little dive bar, I guess, one evening, and they'd all bellied up to the bar and were having their drinks, and I guess my grandfather had gone over and playing pool with a guy or something. I don't know what had happened, but they got into it, him and this other fella, and the other fella beat the crap out of my grandfather. And my grandmother saw this going on, and she went over and started snatching pool sticks out of fellas' hands and wearing them out to figure out which one she wanted. She found the heaviest one she could, and she commenced to whooping the fella and beat him out in the parking lot and left him for dead out there, I guess, and just left him in a pool of his own blood and went back in the bar and finished her beer. Well, one of the other fellas from another truck walked in and said, "Miss Faye, you care if I go out there and check on that fella?" She said, "I don't give a damn what you do, but you better not bring him back in here." So she got the name Q-Stick Faye.
Q-Stick Faye.
Q-Stick Faye. You know, because all them truck drivers had a CB handle that they went by. So, gear grabbing granny. The legend says she started driving big rigs back around 60 or 61. From Tupelo furniture to Texas cattle, she'll tell you she hauled everything under the sun. You know, all them big rig drivers had a CB handle they earned back in the day. It seems Large Marge was taken, so she went by Q-Stick Faye. She quit most her sinning when she repented because she found Jesus and got saved. But nonetheless, everyone knows you don't mess around with Q-Stick Faye. She changed her name to Granny sometime in the 80s, so her gear-grabbing days slowed down. But even now, pushing 90, she's beyond old and ornery. She tells you she can still drive anything around. Yeah.
That even has the like the draw of like an old like you know the devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah,
He was
bit,
you know what I mean?
same
Like,
cadence.
yeah. But it's brilliant. I love that. That's
I was kind of as I was writing, I was kind of channeling my Jim Croce on it a little bit too. You know,
dude. You know, I was looking through my record collection, and I was like, I swear I have Jim Croce. I was gonna have do Jim Croce, but I don't. I thought I did. I guess my collection is getting big enough to where I don't know what I have anymore.
That's a good problem to have.
It is a very good problem to have. But the problem is I don't have any Jim Croce.
Yeah.
That's the real problem.
That's absolutely.
Because
absolutely. And I want to talk about a storyteller.
Exactly. That's
sir.
Because that type of just the way that you tell stories is very like roller derby girl.
Absolutely.
You know, Leroy Brown. You know, that type of. Obviously, you don't mess around with Jim. You know, type of thing to it, and it's like. You know, I try to curate my my album of the week at least a little bit to you know, I don't like to compare people.
Sure.
But it's inevitable almost. Like there's so much music in the world.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying like you are Jim Croce or you're not Jim Croce, but it's like people obviously are reminded.
Absolutely. Well, I feel we all fall into a vein.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Of some sort.
Even if you're inherently unique,
right?
There's still like multiple veins to
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because like it's like we'll play a show and somebody's like, it's like this band, and this band,
but not really.
Yeah, but not really. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, we did our family vacation here a couple months ago. We went out to Wyoming, and it's like Wyoming, the population of Springfield for the entire state.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's wild. It's free. We went to Yellowstone, and we had to park at one point to walk to see the Grand Prismatic Spring, and it's absolutely beautiful. But we wound up walking about 2 miles, and I had my 2-year-old on my shoulders, and for the entire walk. And she was waving at every single car like she was the homecoming queen. She was campaigning for office. I mean, you know, it was so much fun. And so, I mean, I'd say 85-90% of the cars were rolling their windows down and waving back. And I mean, seriously, you thought she was running for office. It was a beautiful thing. So I made this big, long post about how Wyoming is the land of strong women. You know, they were the first to elect a woman to office. They first to give women the right to vote, and that was 50 years before the suffrage law and, you know, all these things that they did for women's rights. And it was very cool. They were the first to hang a woman because of equality, you know.
Shit.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I mean, it's the land of strong women, for real. It's impressive, the history that they have for women. It's cool. So, you know, it's the kind of place as a girl dad that you appreciate.
Yeah, of course.
So I had written this thing, and now I've got to find it. Actually, here, Wyoming is the land of strong women. First female court justice of the United States, first female governor, very first to pass women's suffrage law over 50 years before the 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote. First woman in the United States to be elected to a statewide office. First woman in the United States to be elected as a state representative. In 1890, they refused to join the Union if they made them repeal the suffrage law, and also the first state to hang a woman because equality. I added that because equality part. But
Yeah.
And then I went on to add, as a girl dad, I want Magnolia to be a respectful but strong, independent, and fierce lady. In our adventures of Wyoming, it sure feels like they embody that here, and that's truly why I love it. The country is wild and free and simply stunning, much of it unfazed by the chaos and concrete creeping up around it. It's very much like the spirit of a 2.5-year-old seeing new things for the first time, wide open and full of wonderment. It just feels special. And when your whole world is seeing a new world for the first time from your shoulders, waving like she's campaigning for office, it is. So, with that, I took that and I rewrote it. I talked about you take your emotions and you write them all down, and then you turn around and you can whittle it all out. And you can make anything you want out of it creative if you choose to. So I took that and I whittled it all back out, and let me see if I can find it now. And what I came up with, of course, now I can't find it since I'm on the spot.
It's all good. The audience can stand a little dead air.
She's my Wyoming, I'm her Missouri. She's wild and free, born to roam, and she always knows she can come back home. She started out here like Lewis and Clark, but she fell in love and found her heart way out there with them wide open western skies.
Nice. I liked that line that you had in like the raw ore of the thing you wrote about the concrete creeping up. I'm like a sucker for like alliterations, and like an you know what an alliteration is, like everything starts with the same letter, but there's like a natural rhythm to it, and I love that concrete creeping up, like
yes,
it's like but I love when
again,
I was
it's cadence.
Exactly. But it's also, I think that's brilliant that how you said that, just because what am I trying to say? Like, whenever I was talking about, like, if you can paint an image in somebody's brain, and like that just that line stuck out to me because it checks all the boxes. You know what I mean? It has like a cadence and it has an image to it. And it's just brilliant, I think. It just because the concrete creeping up, I assume you're meaning like cities creeping up behind,
But Yellowstone is sitting there unfazed, untouched, wild and free and beautiful, and with the exception of the however many hundreds of thousands of people that come through there every summer, it's beautiful. It's wild and it's free and it's there.
You guys just went on vacation. Yeah, do you remember, like, this is probably 10 years ago, they had that treasure that was apparently buried is the Forrest Fenn treasure?
I do remember something about that,
Yeah, we went and tried to look for it.
How was that?
Well,
was it like camping, intense?
I've never actually said this publicly, ever, but they just released a documentary on Netflix not too long ago about the guy who found the treasure, but they didn't show the guy. Like, he didn't want to be, it was about the treasure, it wasn't really about him. But when we went to Yellowstone to look for it, because I had this, it was a time in my life when we were talking about earlier how we were like shitheads. Yeah. I was in that, like, I'm just drinking all the time and just like obsessing over shit, and I was like, I'm literally like, I'd go to work, I'd come home, and I'd obsess over this treasure.
Yeah.
I was a lunatic, dude. And I'm literally like trying to figure out, like, I'm have like GPS open, I'm like looking at like topographical maps and shit, chugging whiskey, smoking chain smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
And but I tell you what, when we went and looked for it, I knew exactly where I was going by the time we went, and we didn't find it. But whenever that documentary came out, I was so close.
No.
I'm not like.
Did you get excited and mad at the same time?
I have my hair is on end.
Yeah.
I have goosebumps. I was so close, like within a mile. I'm not kidding you. I would not lie about that. And but we left because.
So what was in the treasure?
It was a bronze box from like the Aztec, right? And it had gold like doubloons and like emeralds and like they were everything in the box. Or no, I don't want to say everything in the box, but basically he had it set up to where if you were to have solved the riddle and then you find it, you can't really own it. Everything's so old and historical that it's actually illegal to own it.
Catch 22.
Yeah, so you have, but the catch is, and I might be wrong. So if anybody out there is watching and I'm wrong, correct me, please. But the Smithsonian will buy it to you for $3 million, or buy it from you for $3 million. Yeah, so it's like you still get a bunch of money for it. But you have to give up the treasure itself.
I'm kind of at that point in my life. Just pay off my mortgage. I'll be happy.
Yeah. Honestly, if I just don't have to worry about next week,
That's
I'm cool.
Yeah.
But no, Wyoming is beautiful, man.
It is. It really is.
Because we also did some touristy things while we were there, and
I miss them 50-degree mornings in July.
Dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It's crazy to see like little, obviously they're like hot springs, but it's crazy to see like natural, just like, because you can go out there and there's a small pond, you know what I mean, or there's ponds everywhere,
right?
But it's like one that's just naturally steaming hot. It's kind of wild,
right?
You could throw something in it and it's just like,
right. Not long before we left, maybe a month before we left, I saw I was following the Yellowstone Park, whatever, on the Facebooks. And there was a post of a bison that had wandered into the thing. He said, "Well, our visitors at the park today watched a bison get boiled alive." I'm scrolling through the comments, and one of the comments was like, "Well, it smelled good for at least a second.
Yeah.
Or them steaks were cooked perfectly for at least a second, or something like that." I'm like, well, there is that. Something I would have never have thought of.
Yeah. Like, it's like, scoop that out. We get,
Throw some taters in.
Yeah, some carrots, some taters, just scoop that out, dude. Oh, man.
You're just talking about your younger, wilder days. Something else I'd started. I remember back in my wilder days, getting hemmed up for my foolish ways. Like sneaking out the back door from my grandma's kitchen with a big old piece of fresh fried chicken. Man, those were some real good times, just trying to make it home before the street lights shine. Oh, to be 9 or 10 again, wild and free, just me and my friends. That's an innocence you think you'll never get back, but next thing you know, your own little is sitting in your lap. Time is precious, but time's a thief, and it don't slow down, believe you me. It'll leave you feeling homesick for a place you can't get back, always reaching for somewhere in the past.
Dude. Are you done pulling on my heartstrings, dude? You're just tugging away, dude. No, I wrote something the other day, and it's kind of crazy that you mentioned like the cicadas and things like that, and like, because like that's what you're talking about scents and sounds and things taking you back to another time in your life, and it's like for some reason cicadas like take me back to that like hot summer childhood street, like you know what I mean? It's like, do you ever remember the show The Wonder Years?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That show is like, obviously that took place in the 60s, and that's way before my time, but it's like
but the show, man, it takes me back.
Yeah.
And the song.
Yeah. Oh, the theme song? Yeah. What would you do? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
For some reason, I grew up thinking that was the Joe Cocker version, and it was not until, for some reason. Do you ever, like, misremember something?
Yes.
I always remember it being.
So you're telling me now that it wasn't?
No, it's not the Joe Cocker version.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's...
I thought it was.
It's some other guy. I don't know, because I recently went and rewatched it, because they just came out with like the reboot
Yes.
of it, and I was like, this is okay, but it's not the original. And so
Right.
I went back and watched the original, and it's one of the best shows that has ever existed. But like, to me, it's like the cicadas and the little molt on the tree of the cicada. It's like we used to pick those off and crumple them up and stuff. And
But, you know, like when you could.
Pine needles. I don't know why.
You know, I was telling my wife the other day, one of my favorite smells was burning pine needles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from when I was a kid, you know, going camping or whatever, and the smell of burning pine needles, pine cones. 'Cause growing up in Mississippi, there was an abundance.
Yeah.
Pine needles, they were everywhere. We had pine trees. You know, growing up in the pine belt. Yeah, man, pine needles. I love that smell.
Yeah, dude.
But you know, that was a time. Like I said, I'll be 40 in October. You know, growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, you know, you could go outside and be gone from sun up to sundown, and nobody thought much about it.
Yeah.
And you know, you do that now, and like there's Amber Alerts out. You know?
Yeah. How do you? Okay. While we're talking on that, it's like, you know, and I haven't really asked anybody this because I don't have. I do have a lot of friends with kids, but it's I don't know. I feel like you're the right person to ask this because you cherish that memory of being able to, you know, you don't have to come back till the streetlights come on. How does your experience as a child differ from now being a dad? Like, would you allow your child to leave and come back and trust them to come back in one piece? Do you know what I mean?
Oh man, it's scary. You know.
Or do you think that your parents were crazy for allowing you to do something? You know, do that.
It's different times. Like, you know, you think about history and sitting in history class in high school, and you hear about the. Sorry about that.
You're good.
You hear about the Industrial Revolution and all these revolutions, technological booms, and well, we pretty much live the technology revolution.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have landlines that stretch from the kitchen to the bathroom and the back side of the house anymore with those wind-up curly-Q phone lines, you know, that you clothesline your cell phone running through the house because somebody's in the other room now, you know.
Yeah.
We have cameras that instantly show you when somebody pulls in your driveway, and you know, neighbors that are all up in everybody's Kool-Aid and don't even know the flavor. And you know, sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. And it's just, man, it's just such a different world. You know, I remember driving down the highway in my dad's 78 Ford truck, crawling from the front seat to the cab of the truck, going down the highway through the sliding back glass while we're going down the road. Wasn't no big deal. You know, wasn't no big deal. You do that now, and they're going to put you under the jail.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's such a different time.
Yeah.
I mean, if we did the things now as parents that our parents did, we'd be crucified. But if our parents, like, I feel like if our parents did now, or did then what we do now, they'd have been told, you need to relax, you're too uptight. You let the kid be a kid.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Let the kid get some dirt on his knees. Go out there and let him eat some bugs. It'd be fine. It's good protein. It's good for his immune system. You know?
Yeah.
What is organic, you know?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Organic is that cow pie out in the pasture. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's organic.
They let you figure it out.
Right. And that's okay. That's how I feel about it. You know, there's a lot of it that's okay. My kid, we joke about it when we take Magnolia to the doctor because she's got bruises all over her legs and everything else, but she's rough and tumble, man.
Yeah.
She's got a rocking horse that she acts like she's at the junior rodeo. And she's got her cowboy hat, you know, her Charlie One horse, because Chris Stapleton is her dude. And if she hears Chris Stapleton, she's got to put that hat on and she's got to get on that horse. And that girl's got to ride.
That's awesome.
And,
That's hilarious.
you know, and I feel like there's a lot of parents now that if they saw the bruises on that girl's leg, we'd done been under the jail because CPS would have been over there knocking on our door.
Yeah.
But you know, it's hard to say, man. It's just hard to say.
Yeah.
I'm about letting my kid be a kid within reason. You know? It's like we was talking about earlier. Sometimes I have to remind myself that she's 2.
Yeah.
And let her be 2.
Right.
And enjoy the moment. Because she's not going to be 2 for long. She's not going to be 3 for long. She's not going to be 4. Man, we get 18 summers with these kids. 18. That ain't many. 18 summers. So I want it to be the best 18 summers that I can give her.
I've never had that been put in perspective like that before. I mean, because obviously it's the same. Obviously, a summer is a year away from each other, but you don't really.
But a summer is just a couple of months.
I know, and that's what, you know. And I don't have kids, so I can't really really relate. But it's like to think about time in that way. Of just 18 summers. That sounds so small. You make it sound so small.
Kind of hurts.
Yeah. That does hurt.
I got another one that I had started and hadn't finished. It's just courses. And a title. My Whole World. She's 3 years old and the coolest little kid. Says, Dad, I'm going to drive your Jeep when I'm really big. But she'll always be my little girl. I'm wrapped around her finger, my whole world. Course number 2. She's 6 years old, going on 10. Soon she'll be wearing makeup and hanging out with friends. But she'll always be my little girl. I'm wrapped around her finger, my whole world. I've got 2 courses. Just got to fill it in with something.
Yeah.
But, you know, you think about that time. It's short. And time is precious. Time's a thief. It don't slow down, believe you me.
Yeah. What you say, time doesn't. I feel like the only time that time does feel like it slows down is when you're a kid.
Yeah, man, didn't summer seem so long?
Yeah, and it's also like I remember times whenever we were talking about how you can, when you're a kid, you can just go out and nobody cares. I use that term loosely, not that nobody cares where you are, but you get what I'm saying. It's like you can leave. You get out of school and then you just leave and go hang out with your friends.
That's right.
And you're just gone.
That's right.
As a 12-year-old and you're even younger, and you don't come back until you hear your dad whistle. Right. That was always our thing. Is like if we weren't back before the street light, or by the time the street lights came on, throughout the whole neighborhood, my dad had one of those earth-shattering whistles. But we felt like we were in Stand By Me or something. You know what I mean? It was like we would go and we would find things in the woods, and it was like this whole cinematic. Yeah, climbing trees, but it felt like a
bicycle trails. And,
yeah. It was like one afternoon was like a lifetime.
That's right.
And
that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
That's the only
magic times.
Yeah. And as cheesy as it is, there's that movie. It's in sadly, but that movie Bridge to Terabithia. It's like a Disney movie, but that, in my opinion, as kind of cheesy as it was, and kind of it still kind of represents that type of concept for me. Because it had fantasy monsters in it, but it was all their imagination. And it was like that. They built a little log bridge over the creek, but to them it was this immaculate,
that's right,
golden encrusted thing. And I don't know. It's just
man, yeah, building forts.
Yeah,
the good stuff.
Yeah, playing. Remember when walkie-talkies were a big deal?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Everybody had a walkie-talkie.
Oh yeah.
Or wanted one anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
So you could play cops and robbers.
If you didn't have one, you had a friend with a set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always had the friend too across the street where you'd open your window at night.
That's right.
And you'd be like, "Hey,
That's right.
what are you doing?"
With a can in your bicycle tire or a set of cards or something.
Yeah, I was always the soda can.
Yeah, cards wore out too fast.
Yeah. Well, I just like never. We always had soda because growing up we weren't like the healthiest family. But
if you didn't have one, there was one in a ditch somewhere.
yeah, for sure. yeah. But that was those kind of tear up your tires though.
They can.
Yeah.
They can.
Just because of wear.
Yeah.
They sure did sound cool.
They did sound cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Let's see. So I started telling you about this retreat that I got to go on with music therapy retreats.
yeah.
And it's out in Nashville. They've actually been expanding and growing, which is an amazing thing. Started out as music therapy of the Rockies, and now he's Mac Bailey is the founder of it, and he's expanded, and now it's music therapy retreats, and he does a retreat in Springfield once a year. Does a veterans retreat at Drury, which is absolutely incredible. So when he does that retreat every summer, I think he's done 3 here in Springfield now. I try to go down there. They do a little show at the end of the retreat, and I try to go down there and support them for that and see their showcase. It's really special. But I got to go to one in Nashville at Amy Grant's farm, and it was absolutely incredible. And I got to write with a gentleman by the name of Mark Elliott, and we lost him to cancer last year before last. I don't even know what year we're in right now. My days are all running together. But so you go to this retreat and you spend 3 days there. It's usually like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal.
Mm-hmm.
You get there Friday. You kind of meet everybody. You meet the writers. Have dinner together. Go through what the process is going to look like. Saturday morning, you get paired up with. I don't remember now, but you get paired up with a professional songwriter. Saturday, you break out into your groups, you and your songwriter, and a therapist, and you tell them your story. And from that story, you write a song. And on Sunday, you spend that day writing your song and practicing your song. And on Sunday, you and your songwriter can share that song with the group as a whole and have a little concert. And the songwriter will perform the song for you, or you can elect to perform the song yourself, or you can perform it together. And it's a pretty special event. Like it's pretty powerful.
That sounds awesome.
It's incredible. So a lot of it is, like I said, it's a veterans specific retreat. So a lot of it is military and war related stories and songs. And I have been out since 2014, and I have been going to therapy since 2014, and I've worked through a lot of that stuff, and I'm doing pretty good most days.
That's good. Days. Yeah.
I'm not out in public and angry with everybody for stuff that they didn't do anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm doing pretty good. But music has been a huge part of that. So I got to this retreat, and that's not the story I told. I didn't tell my war stories. I told my story as a whole. I had just lost my dad. I was scheduled to be at that retreat in October of 2021, and I called him and I said, "Hey, my dad just passed away, and can we reschedule?" So I got to go in May of 2022, and so that was pretty raw and fresh when I went to that retreat, and we talked a lot about my dad and my family dynamics and all of that, and being raised by my grandmother, Q-Stick Faye, and so my dad died from cancer at 56 years old, and the last few years that he was with us, he was very sick, not well at all, and I had moved him into my house that I owned, and given him a vehicle and drove him to his appointments and all of that. And I said, he didn't raise me. We were more like brothers than father-son. We had a very different relationship. We had a good relationship, but we weren't father-son type relationship.
Right.
It was just very different. So I get to this retreat, and he said, well, tell me your story. What do you want to talk about? I said, where do you want to start? He said, well, start at the beginning. I said, well, I was born at a very early age, and I told him about being raised by my grandmother in Mississippi and her having me in church every time the doors were open and at every singing event from the Mississippi Delta to Millington, Tennessee, and everywhere in between. And she being very instrumental in a key cog in my music interests and love, basically, and it being, a big part of my coming back to me, and as a kid growing up with her and the relationships that she had built and fostered and grown and nurtured, that all these African American churches were calling her and say, Miss Faye, you want to come sing at our revival? We're going to be down here at this place. We're going to be up here at this place. You going to come sing for us? So, she had me at all these African American revivals and tent singings and churches and everything, like I said, from the Mississippi Delta up to Millington, Tennessee, and everything in between, from young to, teenage years.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of my influences growing up and just being around all of that. And then I said, for a white woman to be invited to those places says a little bit about her,
Yeah.
And that's Q-Stick Faye. Like I said, she quit most of her sinning when she repented and found Jesus, because she found Jesus and got saved.
Yeah.
Like everything in that I wrote about her is very much true.
So they weren't inviting her just because they were afraid she still
right.
had that Q stick.
That's right.
No, I'm just. Yeah.
Did I get my invitation or not?
Yeah.
But so we wrote. So my last name is Golden, right? So I was talking about my dad, and I said, I've spent my whole life hearing "Stay golden, stay gold, pony boy."
Yeah.
Hey man, you're golden. And everything golden you can imagine. Golden Girls, Golden Graham, Golden Flake, Golden everything. Because that's a big potato chip brand and snack brand in the South, Golden Flake. But anything Golden Corral, anything golden you can imagine.
Right.
I've heard it. But I've spent my whole life trying to live up to a name, Golden. Because I love my name, man. It's a pretty name. It's a cool name.
It's a nice
It's
name.
different,
Yeah.
So I spent my whole life trying to live up to a name that I didn't feel like my dad did much for. And, I mentioned the legacy earlier, when we was talking about the question.
Yeah.
And, you talk about the memories that you have and those key memories and how, some of those memories are the way that you've affected other people. Well, that's the legacy part that I was asking about, because to me, that's the legacy that you left, is those memories that you've left with other people, right?
Yeah.
So, I want to know that I've left a legacy that my kids can be proud of.
Right.
That's important.
Of course.
A name that my kids can be proud of. So I didn't feel like my dad's done a lot for that. Well, and then my grandfather did even less for the name. He was a very, very abusive man. He was the kind of fella that he kidnapped one of my aunts on multiple occasions from school so that my grandmother couldn't leave him, to get away from him, because he was very abusive. So that was the plan, was while he's gone, I'm gonna take the kids, I'm gonna leave. Well, he went and kidnapped a kid from school so she couldn't leave. He'd go out on the road as a truck driver, leave her with X number of dollars and say, this is the money for the week, I'll be home on Friday. If she didn't have every red cent when he got home, he'd beat her. And if she did, he'd beat her. That's just the kind of man that he was. So he didn't do anything to leave a legacy for the name Golden. So I spent my whole life trying to live up to this name, right? So that's a story that me and Mark talked about at this retreat, living up to Golden. And when I said, I've spent my whole life living up to this name, trying to live up to Golden, he went, the songwriter in him went, oh, there it is. There's your song, living up to Golden, man. That's your hook. We got to build on that. So we did.
Do you have that song?
Yeah.
And before you bring that up, do you have it ready to perform?
I can play it, yeah.
Would you want to do that instead of a jam?
Yeah, I can do that.
And just I'll hook you up, and that'll be our
Yeah,
that'll be the little music part of the show.
Absolutely.
Because that would be awesome. That's I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
Because I also haven't heard you yet. If you've read me your lyrics, I'm like,
well, I'm gonna tell you, buddy. Like I said, I'm not a profound musician by any stretch of the imagination.
you don't need to be.
I've never taken lessons. I'm self-taught. I'm left-handed playing a right-handed guitar, so
I didn't know
figure it
that.
out. Yeah.
I think you may have mentioned
Yeah.
that.
So, but you know,
No,
man,
that's cool.
we've talked so much about music and writing and what it can do for you, how therapeutic it is. You know, just get the fat crayons out and just, man, instruments are the same way. Man, I'm not a finger picker, but I'm trying.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I'm down, I'm feeling a little melancholy, I'm feeling blue or whatever, I'll finger pick a little bit. If I'm angry, I'm mad, I beat the crap out of it. You know, you can put your emotions right there into your instrument, whether it's strings or drumsticks or
Absolutely.
a bow, whatever it is. You can put your emotions, you can channel it right into your hands, to your fingertips, to your instrument, and put it right there. It's a beautiful thing. And if instruments aren't your medium, your art medium, put it into a paintbrush.
Yeah.
Put it into a crayon, to a colored pencil. Put it into something. It doesn't have to be alcohol. I did that.
Yeah.
Man, I got another one. I'm sitting here alone in this empty home, nothing but my demons to pollute my mind. And Lord knows I've tried, but I just can't seem to hide or outrun my struggles in the deep end of this bottle. Life just goes on, with or without me. And this road I'm on is just so dark and lonely. But I've got enough Whitley to drown in my whiskey. And I'm sure to feel haggard when this bottle lets me down.
Dude. You're the fucking man, dude.
No. So, living up to Golden.
Yeah.
He had it first and another time. Gave it to my dad, and now it's mine. They didn't know what they had, but I do. Yeah, I do. It's the way I want to live my life, raise my kids, and love my wife. You ask me how it feels inside, and I'll tell you. It's more than a last name, a word on some page, a carving on a cold and lonely grave. It's an honor and a calling, and I'm going all in, doing the very best I can, living up to Golden. The evening sun in those big pine trees, singing songs, Grandma and me. That color is like a melody in my soul, It's more than a last name, a word on some page, a carving on a cold and lonely grave. It's an honor and a calling, and I'm going all in, doing the very best I can, living up to Golden. It goes back generations endlessly, but it's a legacy that begins with me, because it's more than a last name, a word on some page, a carving on a cold and lonely grave. It's an honor and a calling, and I'm going all in, doing the very best I can, living up to Golden, because my name is Golden.
I love that. I think we should take a short break.
Cool.
That's a good ending point right there.
Word.
Because what I'll do is whenever you perform that song, I'll cut it in right after that.
Sounds good.
And then, I do want to finish the conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get a little refill of coffee. We'll take a little breather real quick.
Absolutely.
But, guys, I hope you enjoy the next portion of the show, which was usually a jam portion of the show, but he's going to perform Living Up to Golden.
Yes, sir.
By Jason Golden. It's kind of I don't know. I love that. That's cool. Guys, let's get to the next portion of the show.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, you go for it all.
All right, we're good?
Yeah.
Had it first and another time, gave it to my dad, now it's mine. Didn't know what they had, but I do, oh I do. It's the way I want to live my life, raise my girl and love my wife. Ask me how it feels inside, and I tell you, oh I tell you. It's more than a last name, a word on some page, a carving on a cold and lonely grave. It's an honor and a calling, I'm going all in, I'm doing the the very best I can, living up to golden. Evening sun in those big pine trees, singing songs with Ma and me. Colors like a melody in my soul, in my soul. It's more than a last name, word on some page, a carving on a cold and lonely grave. It's an honor and a calling, I'm going all in, I'm doing the very best I can, living up to golden, living up to golden. Goes back generations endlessly, but it's a legacy that begins with me. 'Cause it's more than a last name, word on some page, a carving on a cold and lonely grave. Oh, it's more than a last name, word on some page, a carving on a cold and lonely grave. It's an honor and a calling, and I'm going all in, I'm doing the very best I can, I'm living up to golden, living up to golden, living up to golden. 'Cause my name is golden.
Really enjoy that. I like that. Hell yeah. And you have a very your finger. I get what you're saying. Like, you obviously aren't a shredder. You know what I mean? But you, like, the nuances of your playing. You say, like you have a touch.
I try to, well, I try to put the emotion. Try to. You know, I heard somebody say recently that, and I thought it was kind of cool. Your left hand's what you know, your right hand's what you feel.
I heard. I
thought that was kind of cool. I might have heard it from y'all.
Yeah, because I just had a reel that just came out where I was talking to a buddy about it. No, the quote is, so the left hand is what you know, the right hand,
Yeah, the left hand's what you know, the right hand's what you feel.
is who you are.
Okay.
Yeah. And like that's what I'm saying. It's like this is all math and muscle memory. What you're doing to maneuver all those notes around is who you are. Because we all have the same 11, 12 notes if you count the octave. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's what you're doing with all those notes. And it's like we all have, you look at it from the perspective of life too. We're all not always dealt the same hand, but we have the same tool. Like, the ingredients are all the same for the most part. It's just how you deal with those, how
Yeah.
you move them around, how you use them, you know. But yeah, I really enjoy that. You have a very nice voice. You do.
Thank you.
Especially whenever you got real intense on that last verse. It's like, that's what. And then I can't do it because I'm drinking too much coffee, but you know, just that little, like, your little flutter. I love
Yeah,
that.
thank
I love
you.
that stuff. Yeah. Man, while we're here, you got any more? Can you do Q Stick Faye?
I don't have any music for it.
You don't?
No.
Oh, damn. Oh, man.
Let's see.
What was the one? Do you have music for the one that you did for the contest?
Yeah. Hang on. remember it. I feel like I've got several going through my brain right now. Something like that. Bought a big old house and land, having a kid, man, oh man, it's everything I can do to raise a dog or two, something like that. It's real exciting, but boy, I'm scared. I ain't old, but I'm getting there. Everybody says a kid will keep you young. These days, they say, just wanna be the best I can, make them proud of the man that I am. Try to show every day they're my world, my wife and I. Reckon that you're gonna be here soon. Me and Mama fixing up your room. Forgot the words. Dogs have already claimed their spots to protect your crib. Catch what's dropped seems to be the new favorite room these days. Just wanna be the best I can, make them proud of the man that I am. Try to show them every day they're my world, my wife and I. Just wanna be the best I can, make 'em proud of the man that I am. I feel like I've got several in that same chord progression now that I think about it. That's why I was saying that's messing me up. You give me life when I can't breathe. You give me sight when I can't see. You give me music when there's no melody. And you're the song in my heart that I love to sing, that I love to sing. When I first met you, I was parts in a box. You put me together, restored this old heart. And you gave me reason to tune these old strings. You're the song in my heart that I love to sing, that I love to sing. You hold me together when I'm falling apart. You show me the way when I don't know where to start. I just messed that all up. Forgot my words. You hold me together when I'm falling apart. You show me the way when I don't know where to start. You're my voice of reason when I'm not a friend to me. You're the song in my heart that I love to sing, that I love to sing. When I think I can't, you convince me I can. And you always make me wanna be a better man. Most most importantly is you love me for me. You're the song in my heart that I love to sing, that I love to sing. You hold me together when I'm falling apart. You show me the way when I don't know where to start. You're my voice of reason when I'm not a friend to me. You're the song in my heart that I love to sing, that I love to sing. Taken those vows and we've traded those rings. Now I've got a song that I can finally sing, that I can finally sing. Rushed through that one a little fast, but that's the idea of it.
No,
I actually wrote that for our wedding.
that's awesome. Is the couple still married?
Yeah, we are. We sure are.
Oh, you're. Oh.
No, that was for my wedding. Mine and my
okay.
wife, yeah.
I thought you just said a wedding.
No, I wrote it for our wedding.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like that. No, and it's like even when you like stop and go, it's like that's just so real to me. You know, I don't know how to explain it. It's like everyone's like, no, that's called fucking up.
Yeah.
And forgetting my shit. It's like, no, that's called being a human being.
That's right.
I like that.
And then there's, Lord, I'm lost. I'm on the other side of nowhere. Can anybody out there hear me tonight? I'm all alone. And this darkness ain't retreating, but my heart continues beating. I refuse to quit on life. I'll carry on just like before. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it pours. Today is gone, but tomorrow's new. There's no day so dark I can't see through. I stay strong, even when I'm at my weakest, 'cause I know that I can beat this if I try. When life gets tough, I just put my best foot forward and always pressing onward, right on through the storms. I carry on just like before, but sometimes it rains and sometimes it pours. Today is gone, but tomorrow's new, and there's no day so dark I can't see through. I carry on just like before, but sometimes it rains and sometimes it pours. Today is gone, but tomorrow's new. There's no day so dark I can't see through. Today is gone, but tomorrow's new. There's no day so dark I can't see through. I lost my chords, but you get it.
Yeah.
If I'm like, when I actually play it and sing it, like, that's when I belt pretty good.
Yeah. Of course.
Now, I wrote that one probably around 2015, 16, like neck deep in a whiskey bottle.
Yeah.
No,
I like that. I like all of those.
I
Really.
bring that one back around like I just lost it. Today is gone, but tomorrow's new. And there's no day so dark I can't see through. Today is gone, but tomorrow's new. And there's no day so dark I can't see through. There's no day so dark I can't see through. But like, there's a few songs that I will just lay into and wail on. I know she had Folsom Prison over there. I bet there's rich folks eating in a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee, smoking big cigars. I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. That train keeps rolling, and that's what tortures me. If you freed me from this prison, if a railroad train was mine, you bet I'm moving on a little further down the line, far from Folsom Prison. That's where I want to stay. I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away.
Hell yeah. You get some gravel in there too.
Sometimes, man, sometimes.
I like that. No, because earlier I was talking about, like, thinking you were going to be like, well, my tractor.
Yeah.
And then you have this big soul, and then you're throwing me for another loop that you have a little bit of gravel in your voice.
There's a little bit in there.
I like that. That's...
Gonna take a freight train down at the station. So I like to do this one I used to do this one a lot at the jam nights, and everybody started doing it, so I quit doing it. But I'd always started out with, I'm gonna take a freight train down at the station, Lord. I don't care where it goes. I'm gonna climb a mountain, the highest mountain. Jump off, nobody's gonna know. Can't you see what that one below been doing to me? Can't you see? Oh, can't you see? I messed that up. What that one below been doing to me? Started out real light. Gonna take a freight train down at the station, Lord. Hop on, nobody gonna know. Just a whole octave.
Yeah.
Cause that lady, me old woman, Lord, she never told me goodbye. Can't you see? Oh, can't you see what that woman, Lord, been doing to me? Can't you see? Can't you see what that woman been doing to me?
Yeah.
But not so fast, actual pace. But
Yeah. I like that. I always love that song.
yeah, oh man, it's a fun one to just wail on though. Start off, you just kind of see the perspective, man. It's all about the listener. You man, I'm down, I'm depressed, and then damn it, I'm pissed.
Yeah. For sure. Huh. I like that. Do you know Cat Stevens?
Oh yeah.
He's another Croce
Yeah.
type of
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
too. Are you about to play? Are you trying to play what I think you're trying to play?
I feel like that's the chord, that's the picking pattern, but what's the progression? It's something like that. I told you I play by ear. Give me a second. Let me listen to it in my head real quick.
Yeah.
First cut is the deepest.
Yeah,
It's something.
yeah,
It's real
yeah.
close to that.
First cut is the deepest, baby,
It's damn close to that.
yeah. It's also the Dixie Chicks did it. Yeah. No.
Yes,
they did do
but
it, but yeah.
no, but that's.
First cut is the
It's. I feel that it's a DAG or DGA
Yeah.
something AD.
I'm pretty sure it's a DAG type of.
But it's a real simple chord or picking pattern. But that's the only reason I know that because that's all I know is simple. It's something that damn it's in there. It's like Ragu. It's in there. Or Prego. One of those two.
I think you got it.
And it could be my pattern could be a little off too. It could be a 1 2 3 4 5 or.
Yeah, I think you got the picking right. I think it's
The
now
progression's a
tempo.
little, the tempo and
Yeah.
something's off, but it's
Yeah,
I have no rhythm either, buddy. If you haven't noticed,
dude, I'm honestly so envious of solo musicians because they don't necessarily need rhythm. They go on their own time. It's like I have to be with a drummer.
right.
It's like
I feel like that's off. Maybe. First cut is the deepest, baby, I know. First cut is the deepest. Constellations
you know the song.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah, you know the song, the Cat Stevens song, "Wild World."
Oh,
song?
baby. Yes, I love
Yeah.
that song.
Did you know that's actually a song to his daughter?
Makes sense.
It makes way more sense when you actually know what it's about.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's, ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world.
Love that.
It's hard to get by.
Well, just your smile, girl. Dum, dum, da, 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 dum. He's a hell of a writer.
Yeah. But I have a bunch of Cat Stevens records. I honestly thought about it, but I was like, I don't know if you.
Oh yeah. So that's one of my wife's favorites also. That the one I was just trying to figure out. That she loves that song. That's one of her favorites.
It is a good song.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to play "The Wind" by Cat Stevens. And
No.
I was like, I thought I was the only one that really loved that song.
Yeah.
'Cause I'll always mention that to people. Like, if you like Cat Stevens, you know the song "The Wind," and they're like, "No, I know Father and Son,
Right,
Wild
yeah,
World,
like
and
the top."
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, "The Wind" is like, yeah. And so whenever you're about to play that, I was like, dude, I think the planets align.
Yeah.
Because that's just a pretty beautiful song, man.
For sure. I'll listen to that on the way home. It's, because I know the song, but I couldn't tell you any of the lyrics.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
It's just a pretty song.
Yeah.
He writes really pretty, like guitar and vocally.
And I feel like that's an odd combination to come by these days. Like you get one or the other a lot of times.
Yeah.
You don't get somebody like a Cat Stevens or a Jim Croce that does both a lot of days these days. Or you don't. I mean, they're out there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean Stapleton.
Right.
I mean that guy. Ward Davis. I don't know if you know who that is.
Who?
He's a Ward Davis.
Ward.
Country music guy, singer songwriter. But guitar player, singer songwriter. I mean, they're out there, but they're just not household names like they used to be. You know, like Croce and Cat Stevens. But man, Ashley Gorley, is that a name you know?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
So you know, I talk about. I'd love to be able to walk into a grocery store and know that that's my song playing, and nobody else knows that that's my song playing.
Yeah.
So I drop a name like Ashley Gorley. He's got like 81 number one songs.
Huh.
You don't know who he is. But I guarantee you, if you've ever listened to country music, you know who he is. Like by his songs.
Ashley Gorley.
Like, yeah. And that's just his, like, he's got like 80 number one. That's number ones.
Check that out.
But he's a songwriter that you wouldn't have a clue.
Interesting.
That's wild, right?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine? Like, somebody says, hey, you ever heard of Ashley Gorley? No. Well, he's got 81 number one songs.
Yeah.
So he just goes to the Dollar General down here, and he's a multimillionaire, and nobody has a clue who he is. And
That sounds really appealing. To be
doesn't that
honest.
sound phenomenal?
Yeah. You don't have to. You have the fame, but don't have to deal with.
Well, you don't even really have the fame. I mean,
Or, I guess
you
the accolades. but
right,
not-
right. I mean, you're at all the award shows, but nobody
Yeah.
knows who you are.
Yeah.
No, I'm just here to fill a seat, man.
Right. That's brilliant.
I appreciate you so much having me out, man.
Absolutely, dude.
It's pretty cool.
I appreciate you sharing your music and
Absolutely.
like I said, sharing your story, especially your music though too.
I'm sitting here alone in this empty home. Nothing but my demons to pollute my mind. Lord knows I've tried, I just can't seem to hide or outrun my struggles in the deep end of this bottle. Life just goes on. Definitely a country song. With or without me, this road I'm on, so dark and lonely. I've got enough Whitley to drown in my whiskey, and I'm sure to feel haggard when that bottle lets me down. I stay out of the bars full of big hopes, dreams, and scars. It ain't 'cause I'm scared, no, I fought my way into a few. They just ain't my scene. They're too people-y. I'll just stay home where I can keep and lose all control. Life just goes on, with or without me. This road I'm on, so dark and lonely. I've got enough Whitley to drown in my whiskey, and I'm sure to feel haggard when that bottle lets me down. Life just goes on, with or without me. This road I'm on, so dark and lonely. I've got enough Whitley to drown in my whiskey, and I'm sure to feel haggard when that bottle lets me down. And I'm sure to feel haggard when that bottle lets me down.
I like that. Hell yeah, man.
Oh, let's drop that in there. good stuff, man.
Yeah.
It gives you somewhere to put your feels and your thoughts, and yeah, it's healthy. Even when it's not, you got to put your unhealthy stuff somewhere.
Yeah.
So, put it somewhere healthy.
Yeah, it's better than in a bottle.
That's right.
From a bottle.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I truly appreciate you having me in.
Absolutely.
Get back to the show.
I totally forgot to ask. I have water and coffee, but
I got my water
okay.
and my special
Oh,
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to college?
For like 2 minutes. I was a cheerleader for a second.
Really?
Yeah, for half a second.
You've been keeping that from me this whole time?
That's right.
Shit, you're talking about these like your rugged military days and your storytelling.
Like half a second, though.
Like being a cheerleader for half a second.
Yeah.
Well, were you at the bottom?
I was a flyer. No. I was
You
not a
had me
flyer.
convinced there for
No.
a split second. I was
You
like,
had
"Are you kidding me, dude? You have a good stone face."
No, I went to a little community college in Fulton, Mississippi, and after like 2 semesters, I had a 1 point something GPA, and figured out that I needed to do something more constructive with my life.
Yeah.
And I decided that, I had enough self-awareness to know that I needed to make a choice for my life before someone else made a choice for my life.
Yeah.
And I knew I needed some guidance and some discipline, and like I said, I'd rather make that choice for me before someone else did. So I decided to join the military, and it was it's not for everybody, but it was good for me.
The military.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask you what you did in the military?
Yeah, absolutely. I was a chaplain's assistant.
What does that entail?
So the chaplain is the only military personnel not allowed to carry a weapon, touch a weapon, have anything to do with any weapons systems. Cannot, by Geneva Conventions. So they have folks like me, and I carried 2. I was his personal security, his tactical advisor, his technical advisor when it comes to battlefield movements and such. He did not leave or go anywhere without me. Like I said, I was his personal security. Aside from that, there's a lot of battle fatigue, battle stress, PTSD, suicide prevention, suicide intervention that goes with that. Like type counseling.
So you're saying the chaplain is the one that doesn't carry.
Correct.
You were carrying.
Correct.
Okay. That makes more
Right.
sense. Sorry, I got tied up in my head.
So if I move, he moves. If I'm
Right.
down, he's down. If I'm up, he's up.
Yeah.
Like he's in my back pocket. Like we move as a team together. He does not move without me.
For sure.
Right. So, but that was honestly the easy part of the job. Truthfully, there was like I said, the PTSD part of it, the suicide prevention intervention was the biggest part of what I did. We were trained in suicide intervention. That's what we do a lot. Especially when you think about being in from 2004 to 2014. There's a lot of that. Somebody comes and says that they're having suicidal ideation, thoughts, tendencies, ideas, whatever. That's what we do. We're there, day or night, 24/7. Doesn't matter. We're there. And then there's the ones that we lose in theater, Iraq, Afghanistan. That you see the boot displays on where they've got the rifles, the helmets, the boots, the dog tags.
Yeah.
I set those up. I set up all those ceremonies. Get those coordinated, organized, and it's heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that chaplain's assistants do that don't most folks don't know, and it's heavy stuff.
Yeah, because I didn't even know that was a job profile like.
Yeah. Well,
in the military.
they're not called chaplain's assistants now. I don't think. I think they've changed the name since I got out. Religious affairs advisor or something. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Now, what exactly is a chaplain like what's his job
It's preacher,
title? He's just a military preacher.
basically. Yeah. You know,
I had an ex-girlfriend that her dad was a chaplain,
Yeah.
and I never asked what he actually did, or you know, like I vaguely know what a chaplain is. I just didn't know if it was like something specific, like or more to it in a military standpoint. You know.
So you got like Protestant, Catholic. I've been out for 10 years now. There's like 5 faith groups that were recognized, and like I said, I've been out for over 10 years now, so I'll probably mess it up. But it was like Protestant, Catholic, Muslim, Orthodox, and Jewish were the 5 major faith groups that a chaplain would fall into. So, like if you're Baptist, Methodist, whatever, Christian, you'd go to a Protestant chaplain.
Yeah.
If you're Catholic, you go to a Catholic chaplain, whatever the case
Right.
may be, and they provide your religious rights.
So what if you're like, I'm trying not to like make light of this, but I'm genuinely
Ask me
curious.
questions.
Like, what happens like if you're like Scientologist or something?
Sure.
You know?
So what you do, you'd come find somebody like me or the chaplain, and you say, hey, this is my faith. This is what I believe. This is what I need to perform my religion. I need this space, this time, this whatever. These are my accommodations. And, as long as they fall within Army regulation, there's not something just absolutely, I got to sacrifice a dog or something, as long as it's not something illegal, then we would accommodate the best we could.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Huh. So like anything, any religious
We would
belief
we'd find
within.
you a space and a time for you to practice your faith. If we could not find, if we didn't have a chaplain that would fit your faith group, we would do our best to find you a space and time to practice your faith.
Right. How long were you in the military?
10 years.
10 years. I think you already mentioned that, but I just wanted to get that for the record. 10 years. So it was just a personal choice of yours to join the military. Nobody kind of like talked you into it. It wasn't like a family thing. Now, you spoke a little bit about how you went to like, family members were invited to, these very musical African American based churches and things like that. So your entire life, you've been kind of music has been ingrained in your life forever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Growing up with my grandmother, some of my very earliest memories were from a little bitty town. I think it's considered a village in Mississippi called Woodland, Mississippi. And
Sounds like a village.
Woodland, Mississippi, and I think it's like population maybe less than 100.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty great. But some of my earliest memories were from the church there. And, as soon as church was over, preacher said amen at the last prayer. Me and my cousin would be up there grabbing microphones from the pulpit and singing Jesus Loves Me or whatever, 2 years old.
Now, did you ever have a chance to like pick around in the military? Because I know like there's a lot of musicians in the military.
I played a little bit, yeah. Actually, I wrote a song on one of my deployments and entered a talent show for the first time. Like I'd ever done anything like that. Stepped way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And ended up getting second place in that talent show.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Man, it was terrifying. That was in Balad, Iraq. It was Mortaritaville was the nickname of that post, of that base. We got mortared, like 20 times a day on average.
Or was it a pun on Margaritaville?
Yeah. Well, I actually did write that one too. Ducking away again in Mortaritaville.
Huh.
Was that one. I'm out here on the flight line. I'm out here all the time, working on Blackhawks, Apaches, and more. I hear the incoming. Everyone's running. IDF's on its way down. I'm ducking away again in Mortaritaville, trying to keep from going insane. And everyone knows that it's the oil fields. Everyone knows that it's the oil fields to blame. Everyone thinks that it's the oil fields to blame, but I know it's the Hodges' fault. Something like that. I think is how I ended that.
Do you know the band Cake?
I know of them. I don't know them like incredibly well.
Yeah,
I've listened to them off
they're
and on.
they're not like I like them. I've seen them live, but I'm not like a huge fan. But they have this song, and I feel weird even bringing this up, but they have this song called "I Bombed Korea," right? And it's like the story of. It's like when we were, and this seems to be like the common theme of the episode is like the storytelling and the imagery, instilling an image in people's brains about with your writing or painting a picture, and that's one of the most beautifully written songs as well as Cake's "I Bombed Korea" because it's literally like the guy at a bar talking to his buddies, but it's like the line is "I bomb Korea every night." And apparently there's like this whole other meaning behind it, but what I interpreted from it was like the traumatic stress of it. Like every night he bombs Korea. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
But that's why I feel weird about bringing it up because I don't want to like, I'm not trying to like. I don't know. No, I feel weird. I feel weird for some reason about it, but. I just thought that was an interesting song, but to bring up because it's like I don't know how to explain it, but so you join or you enter this this talent show and you get second place. What did you perform? Like what did you?
There's a song called "Soldier's Lullaby," and I haven't played that, and I haven't played it in over 10 years.
But you wrote it?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. About being there, calling home, telling your family, "Hey, I'm here. I'll be home before you know it. Everything's going to be okay. Sweet dreams. I'll see you soon," kind of deal.
Yeah.
And so I got there, did the talent show. I did like a 3-minute, 45-second song in 2 minutes, because I'd never played in front of a crowd like that before.
Yeah.
It was like 250 people there, other service members.
Yeah.
But I'd never played in front of a crowd like that, like ever. It was the first time ever standing up in front of a audience like that, and with a guitar, and I'd sung in church before, growing up,
Yeah.
But I'd never played an instrument in front of people like that, and it was a plywood stage and the microphone stand in front of me, and I've got the guitar that I'd borrowed from the chapel, an Epiphone SJ200, and I loved the guitar, man. I loved it. That's when I fell in love with jumbos, and I felt like I could hide behind it,
Ooh,
but man, standing on this plywood stage, microphone stand in front of me, just doing this, wobbling.
Oh yeah.
And so I did the show. I got second place. It was really cool. And I get back to my room afterwards. I get on Skype and I call my aunt, my grandma, and everybody back home. I did the talent show. I got second place. They're like, "Well, how did it go?" I said, "I got second place, but man, I was so nervous. The microphone was shaking in front of me." Like, "Were you not playing your guitar?" I said, "I was. I wasn't even touching the microphone. It was just shaking in front of me."
Yeah.
Because my knees were shaking so bad.
Yeah.
I'm standing there with a 9mm on my thigh, my body armor and everything, playing this guitar, and the microphone's just,
You weren't even allowed to dress down for it?
No, buddy. Like I said, we got mortared so many times a day, and so we're still in.
I know absolutely nothing about the military, so
It's probably for the best.
yeah. Well, I mean, like my grandfather was in the Navy, and I have a cousin he was formerly in the military. Now he's like a private pilot, but
That's cool.
That's pretty much it, man. My sister-in-law is in active duty, but she's never been like she works at she's a prison doctor.
Okay.
Or she works at the prison hospital, but she's actively, or I don't know how I don't know specifically her situation, but she can be deployed or something like that. I don't know. She felt it was. I always thought she had to, because of her job. Like they needed her to do something, but no, I just learned this not maybe a couple weeks ago that she found it to be her calling or something, and she decided to enlist. And I was like,
That's cool.
that's pretty dope. Yeah, because I mean, you know, like you said, it's not for everybody, so it's really respectable whenever somebody does feel like they're drawn to that type of job. But do you remember what the act was that beat you? They got first place.
I don't.
He was like a juggling clown or something.
No. It's, I'm pretty sure it was another singer. But the judges were also from her unit. So I feel like she had to win. So
Shame.
however, the judges did come to me afterwards. Two of the judges, I think it was like a 4-judge panel, and two of them came to me afterwards and said, hey, and I swear this is true, this is not me being arrogant or whatever, because anyway, they said, hey, we really feel like you should have won. That was a beautiful song. Our colonel is getting redeployed back to the stateside in a couple of weeks, and we're going to be having a going away ceremony for him. Would you be willing to come sing at his ceremony? I said, sure. Do you have a song in mind? And do you want me to play guitar? Because I'm not that great of a guitar player, and if you have something in mind, I'd like to be able to practice. So they asked for Lee Greenwood, God bless the USA. So I very smartly found a backing track and just played it and not used the guitar at all.
Oh.
Yeah. I wasn't about to try that.
Yeah.
But I did, and they gave me another little trophy type plaque deal.
Yeah.
And then at that ceremony, they said, hey, so here's the deal. We have this big ceremony coming up for September 11th. And there's going to be these guys coming over on a USO tour. Would you like to open for them? I said, what? They said, yeah. So we'd like to have...
The microphone starts shaking.
Yeah, right. So we'd like to have some of our own homegrown talent from our talent show, like our first, second, third place winners, open for the USO tour that's going to come on September 11th. Would you be willing to do that? Yeah, that'd be cool. Who's it going to be? Ted Nugent.
Oh, of course, it's Ted Nugent.
Right. Well, long story short, Ted Nugent did not come. Nobody came for the September 11th deal. They came back and said, well, I guess Ted Nugent got into some kind of trouble and this whole show got scrubbed. So, but thanks for your willingness to participate.
So you were like inches away from...
I just wanted to meet the guy.
I know, but you almost opened for Ted Nugent.
Allegedly.
That's still exciting.
It's a fun story to tell anyway.
Yeah, of course.
So another fun story about that same song. So it got posted on the interwebs, and I went home on R&R and came back from R&R, and I had this message in my Facebook Messenger. Hey man, so my name is so and so. I ran across your song on the internet, and I dig it, man. Did you write the song? Please call me. So I reverse, Googled the phone number, and all I found was that it's like this LA phone number. I'm like, okay, whatever. I call the guy. He's like, hey man, so tell me your name real quick. Hey man, my name's Jason Golden. Tell me your name real quick.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, well, my name is so and so. I know you don't know me, but I found your song randomly on the internet, and I just thought it was a really cool story, man. Can you tell me about that? Did you write that? Yeah, I did. Well, listen, man. So we're in the real early stages of putting together this new TV show that's going to rival American Idol, and I'd love to put you on this show and tell your story and showcase your whole deal. But we're in the infant stages right now, and I'd love for you to save my number and call me. Well, man, listen, I'm in Iraq right now, and it's going to be a while. And I just thought it was like some gimmick,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some joke, some scam. And fast forward a few months, like not long before I get home, and I start seeing, like, we have this TV station over there. It's called AFN, Armed Forces Network. And I start seeing, like, I saw like one commercial there, I think, and then started seeing it on like Google homepage and everything, like this new hit reality show, The Voice. It's just blown up. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That was the show the dude told me about.
Really?
Yeah.
So not only did you almost open up for Ted Nugent, but you were almost on The Voice?
Yeah.
Dude, why didn't you follow up with that guy?
Well, I thought it was a scam. I deleted the whole thing, just...
Hey,
So,
close calls.
So here it is, how long has that show been on the air? Like 20 years now.
Yeah.
Like almost, because that would have been like 2007 or so, 2008.
The Voice is the one where they're
Where the chairs
flipped
are
around.
turned around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
that's like Blake Shelton.
it was.
Yeah.
So, but that's the show. Like, it would have been cool to be on that show just because they're turned around. But now it's like, if I'm gonna do a reality show like that, I want to be like the first season.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it when they've been on for 20 years and like people are coming out of the woodwork with this just incredible talent. I want to be on the first season.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, you don't want there to be time for people
right.
to get really, really, really good.
Right.
Oh.
I don't want to be on there with the people that have already been on there 3 times and have been told to come back and have gotten better.
As funny as that is to think about, it's like it's so much better for you to follow, like I realize, like, in my career, as even as like when you're on the bill with a bunch of other bands, it's almost more, it's better for you to follow the better bands.
Yeah.
Because you're immediately gonna be like, oh, dude, that guy fucking shreds.
Right.
He's amazing, and I gotta
How do I
follow that.
Right.
But then that puts so much pressure on you that you're like, it really, whether you bomb or not, like, I come off stage like churning these thoughts and ways to make myself better, and
right.
like, improvements and things like that. And
that makes sense.
yeah, because it's almost too comfortable to open a show.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
But both have their benefits, I guess.
Yeah.
Dude, so The Voice, that's crazy to me. That's why. So why? What? How do I say this? Like, what is keeping you from pursuing it more? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Is it just family and you have kids now, or is it?
Well, I'm pretty happy, man. Like, I've got a 2-year-old. We've got another one on the way due in January, and full-time dad, stay-at-home dad, and that's pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
I've said this to several folks, like to some real good friends that are, your good friends and your family. They're always biased, like, man, you need to go do, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to put your stuff out there. And I tell them, reality is I don't want to be famous.
Right.
There's that. I'd love to be able to walk in the grocery store and hear my song, like playing over there, that you can barely hear. That sounds like the teacher from Charlie Brown, wah, 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 but still know that it's my song playing.
Yeah.
And nobody know that it's my song. That would be cool.
That's kind of interesting.
That'd be super cool. I'd love to be a songwriter that's got songs out there that other people are singing.
Oh, like you want?
I'd love to be a writer. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be famous. Like, I don't want to.
Have you tried submitting your songs?
I don't know where to put them. I don't know who to submit them to.
I know where to send them to.
Oh, well, let's talk.
Yeah, I mean, like, not like I can't be like, hey, there's this guy named Chet and or whatever. Here's his number, But I've entered songs into like Nashville contests and things throughout the years. I mean, obviously, I've never won because we're sitting in my basement right now.
Sure. So I just entered one into the VA Creative Arts Festival, and I got this fancy text message the other day. Let's see here.
It's just in calligraphy. That's what you mean by
Yeah,
fancy.
that's
It's
exactly
like what up, dude? But
Right.
in cursive.
it's an old English.
Yeah.
How doth thou day goeth? It says, congratulations. Your music entry won first place and will be entered into the national competition. I'll hear around December, January the results from this and let you know.
So you won the first stage, or you
I
do
won first
believe?
place in the region. Yeah.
So, but it has steps to go.
So the
or
next step
tiers.
is the national competition.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you.
So I've won the region, and it gets submitted to national competition.
What song did you enter?
The best I can. It's is what it's called. And let's see how. I should have it. There it is. Nope, that's not the right one.
And so are you just like hoarding these songs, or do you have stuff out there?
I mean, I've got like 5 or 6 on TikTok and 3 or 4 on YouTube.
Yeah, but nothing like studio recordings.
No. Here it is. Bought a big old house and land, having a kid, and man, oh man, it's everything I can do to raise a dog, or 2. It's real exciting, but boy, I'm scared. I ain't old, but I'm getting there. Everybody says a kid will keep you young, they say. Just want to be the best I can, make them proud of the man that I am, to show them and tell them every day that they're my world, my wife and our girl. I reckon that you're going to be here soon, me and Mama fixing up your room, picking out some barnyard animals too, for you. The dogs have already claimed their spots to protect your crib and catch what's dropped. It seems to be the new favorite room these days. Just want to be the best I can, make them proud of the man that I am, to show and tell them every day that they're my world, my wife and our girl. And then repeat the chorus a couple times and play yourself out.
That's awesome. And so that one first place in region, dude, that's kind of cool. So yeah, so knowing that, I don't think I can do anything for you now. I can just point you in other contests, like the American Songwriter Contest I entered.
I've seen that. It pops up on my Facebook every now and then, and it looks like it's legit, but I'm always skeptical of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I entered because I do I write I hate calling it poetry because it's such a weird word, but nowadays, but I write pieces of writing that aren't musical, and I'm gearing up to enter those into something new.
Cool, man.
But
that's outstanding.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I get what you mean whenever you're like, I'd like to be just a songwriter. That would be awesome. But because like Sia, like the Chandelier song, she was writing songs for people her entire career. She was a songwriter, and then she came out with that album
and just blew the roof off of it.
Yeah, and it's like my issue is whenever I write a song, I hear it coming. I hear it from me.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I don't even know how to even begin to imagine it coming from somebody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, but I've also never heard anybody else sing it.
Well, sometimes I've got a couple of songs that I've written, and as I'm writing them, I think about who, I've got somebody in mind, who can I hear singing this?
Oh, like if it was Keith Urban or like Coulter Wall or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So but you're not talking like somebody you know. You're like, what is a A-lister or something?
Right. So, what kind of vein would this fit into? How can I? If I were going to pitch this song to so and so, how would this need to sound, and how would I navigate?
So you got a little bit of a strategy to this.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But
methodical.
Sometimes, but it never I might start out with that thought process. It never finishes that way.
Right.
It always comes out in my sound.
Yeah.
It seems to, because what we was talking about outside. In my brain it sounds this way, but it never comes out that way on my instrument. and whatever comes out on my instrument is what comes out. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's just the way it is. So, and I don't know how to fix that.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I was saying, and I think that's really important for musicians out there to understand too. Is like, you know, I did obviously mention like jazz and how it's so much math that it's like it has to almost come out how you imagine it to. But
Right.
outside of that, it's like you don't ever worry about it not coming out like you imagine it to come out, because like I hear things in my head all the time and it never comes out the way that it like there was this I'm not a huge I can't I'm gonna be honest, I can't stand like the Grateful Dead, but like I respect everything that they did. But Bob Weir, the other guitar player of that band, he had this, I seen this documentary with him, and he's like, he was like writing something, but he was like on camera, they were kind of just showing his process, and he like stops and he's like, I gotta listen to it in my head for a second. And I get that.
Yes.
But it's like, it's not going to come out that way.
Right.
You know? But it is important to like take a step back and really. This is the other thing is, I realize like, you know, as a guitar player, as a singer, songwriter, whatever you want to call it, or whatever you are. I mean, this even goes for like, you know, if you're just you write poetry, you write novels, you're a painter, you're whatever. Do you ever get to that point where it's just not doing it for you? You know what I mean? It's like, how do I put this? Like, we were talking about something earlier about how, like, yeah, if you're angry or, you know, hammer fisting crayons and things like that, it's, I realize, like, if you are genuinely connected to the art that you're creating, it's like, yes, you're gonna fuck up, you're going to hit the wrong note, you're gonna get tired of it, but it's like, that's you being like, it's coming out of your guitar. Real. Yeah. You're like, I'm exhausted. Of course you're gonna play like shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's straight, direct connection to the soul. You know what I'm saying?
My 2-year-old's saying something right now that I swear I want to write something around it. I want to build something around it, and it's not original to her, but it's just precious when she says it. You know, crayons. That's where we're at right now. She's got some that are broken. You know, instead of kid being upset and mad that they're broken and want to throw them away, she takes them out of the bag and proudly says, "Still colors."
Yeah.
One that's got the wrapper ripped off of it. Still colors. It's broke, Mama. Broke. Still colors. Broken crayons, but it's still colors.
See, you have the mind of a songwriter, of a storyteller. They say, honestly, you have the mind of a poet, to be real with you.
I was going to mention that. I think I'm more of a poet than a songwriter. I'm just trying to force it.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember who said the quote, but there's a quote that I've always loved, and it's like, it's basically like the poet never writes about the poet never writes about the fire. He writes about the charred children's sock laying in the middle of the road. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
It's like that. It's like they never write about the tragedy. They write about that little burnt sock in the middle of the road, in the rubble. You know, and that's what that is. You're not writing about the fact that it's broken and it's still colors. It's like you're not writing about the big picture. You're letting that tell the story. That's like the what do they call that in film? The MacGuffin. I know that's a long shot, but it's like,
I love muffins.
MacGuffin. No, it's the object that drives the story. Yeah. You know, and it's like that. That's
you know,
that's poetry.
There's kids. There's so much inspiration with kids. My daughter, she's my kid. I've always been into, like, I'm a wheeler, dealer, and trading kind of fella, man. I've had so many Jeeps that I've had this and that, and I've traded this and that for a Jeep, and now I'll trade that Jeep for something else. I'll get tired of that, and I'll trade for another Jeep. That's just who I am. I love Jeeps. I've got a problem. My daughter has a little Tykes truck.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, one day she pushed that little truck up to, I had guitars hanging on the wall in the living room. She pushed that truck up to one of my guitars. I think it was this one, actually. And she pointed, and like she wanted to trade her truck for that guitar. Well, I wrote a song about it. Traded my first pickup for a guitar I couldn't play. Trying to make them strings make sense, hoping they'd make dollars one day. Mama was a teacher and Daddy retired from the Army. Most folks say telling stories just comes natural to me. So I beat on that flat top day and night nonstop till my fingers weren't soft anymore. Met with the devil and told him to kick rocks. Got a pretty good deal with the Lord. And you know, when I first got out of the Army, I was not okay. I struggled. I hurt. Most days I drink dang near a fifth of whiskey a day, bourbon. And depending on where we were in the month, I'd start out with good stuff, and by the end of the month, I'd be about broke, and I'd be on some cheap stuff, and then rinse and repeat every month.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty close to a fifth a day, man. But I always had a guitar somewhere close by, and I'd beat on that dude, and I'd feel my feels, and I'd drink my drink, and waller in it, and rinse and repeat every day, you know. And always music. It always bring me back to where I needed to be, and I'd start over the next day. And I finally figured out and got plugged in with Wounded Warrior Project. You know, I had a good friend that kept calling and checking on me and putting a foot in the backside, like, come on, let's get up, get ready, get going, you know, come on, go with me kind of deal. And he bamboozled me into getting plugged in with Wounded Warrior Project. And, you know, I'll tell everybody that Wounded Warrior Project didn't change my life, but they gave me the tools and support for me to pull my head out of my backside and put my life back together. And, you know, I figured out how to not let alcohol and bourbon control my life and control me, and learned how to get control of it. I still enjoy a beverage every now and then, but I don't drink like I used to. Right. You know, I might buy a fifth of whatever and have it for a month and a half, 2 months, instead of a couple hours. You know, that's a good thing. But, you know, I've got so much stuff in here that I've written through all of those days. And, you know, I've got one in here that I'd like to share.
Sure, of course.
That I wrote in there somewhere, if I can find it now. So, when your day's been storming, just remember, every night has a morning. How do you go on when you just feel numb, when the credits are rolling and the fat lady's sung? Who do you call when your heart's been broken, when you can't find the light and there's no hope in hoping? When your day's been storming, just remember, every night has a morning. What do you say when there just are no words, when your emotions are knotted up and your thoughts are a blur? And where do you turn when you've lost your way, when your dark thoughts start to creep in and you allow them to stay? When your day's been storming, just remember, every night has a morning.
Dude.
You know?
Yeah.
Man, we've talked about a lot. We've covered a lot of emotions. We've covered a lot of feels. We've covered a lot of bases.
Yeah.
Through all of this. And, you know, the thing that we just keep coming back to is, man, there's so much emotion and so much feels in music and in art as a whole. It doesn't have, you know, music doesn't have to be your medium. It just happens to be ours.
Absolutely, yeah.
But, you know, you don't have to be the stereotypical, in my case, in my world, the veteran sitting at the end of the bar.
Yeah.
You know, drowning yourself in whatever your beverage of choice is, angry at the world, waiting on somebody to look at you wrong, to start that fight just so that you have a reason to be angry. You don't have to be that stereotype.
Right.
You don't have to live up to those or live down to those expectations. But you have to make the conscious effort to pick yourself up and try to do better, to make yourself better. You got to want to. And it's that want to that's got to be your driving force. You know, it's real easy to sit and say, man, this happened, that happened, and life sucks, and life has got me down, and it's no matter how many times I get up, I'm gonna get kicked in the teeth, kicked in the gut, whatever. But man, you know, you got to get up. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep clawing. You got to keep climbing. You know, you're going to go through days where you're up on top of a mountain. You've had a great day. You've had a great week. Everything is good. Life is going good. And you're feeling good about everything, right? Life's looking good today. Life's looking good this week. We're going to make things happen. Then somebody's going to come and kick that stool out from under you, kick your feet out from under you. Something's going to happen. It's going to suck again. You're going to find yourself face first in the dirt. But you got to remember, wherever you are, that's where you're starting from. When you were up on that peak yesterday or this morning or last week, and you find yourself in the dirt today, that dirt patch doesn't mean you're at the very bottom of that mountain where you started. That means you're right there where you are in that moment. Pick yourself up from right there where you are in that moment and drive forward. Does that make sense?
Makes absolute sense.
You know, that's something that I've had to learn and had to remind myself frequently. And, you know, I find that in music. I find that in art. I find that in writing. I find it in my kids. You know, you can, in my soon to be kids.
Yeah.
But I find it riding my tractor. You know, you can find it anywhere, but you got to look for it. That's the thing. You got to look. You got to want to. You got to want to find it. You got to find that whatever it is that makes you want to go. Mm-hmm. You know, if it's a dog, man, I got the best dog. He's old now, and it breaks my heart that my time's getting real short with him. And when I say my time's getting short, I mean my time's getting short, and it breaks my heart. But my dog, my guitar, and my Jeeps, man, those were the three constants that I had for the longest time. And you know, but you find your constant. You find your baseline.
Yeah.
You set that baseline, and you say, "This is where I'm at today." And sometimes it's a new baseline every day. This is where I'm at today, and we're going to climb. We're going to take that step. Sometimes it's one step. Sometimes it's two steps. Sometimes it's a full-out sprint to the next day. Sometimes you're just going to have to sit still and know that where you're at today is where you're at today. And that's okay. You know, I have days where I don't sleep. I haven't slept the night before. You know, I still struggle with my demons, with my issues.
Yeah.
And I don't sleep well. And some days I'm angry. But I have learned that if I give myself a time frame, like, you know what? This happened in the world today, and it really makes me angry. Like the drawdown in Afghanistan a few years back, the way that all happened just could have been handled completely different. As a military guy, it really bothered me the way that happened, and it made me so angry.
Yeah.
You know, because I had given this chunk of my life, I had given my 20s to that effort, you know?
Yeah.
And then to see this just the way that it all unfolded, and man, I was mad. And I got some stuff written about that. I've got a section where I wrote where I'm angry and I need to feel some type of way. Like I just need to rip somebody's face off if they don't get out of my way, you know?
Yeah.
Angry. The next day, there's another part of it from the next day though. Today I feel better. Just need to let myself feel some type of way. Give myself a clock. And keep everybody out of my way, you know?
Yeah.
But I got to give myself a clock and allow myself to feel the way I need to feel, just to get it out. But when that timer goes off, I'm done. It's time to go back to being, okay, all right, let's move on. Put it behind me. Time to start climbing. Time to get after it. Let's go. It's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But when your day's been storming, just remember, every night has a morning.
You got me, dude. checkmate. You really do.
It's good stuff, man. You know, just the I learned that writing is so much healthier than a fifth of bourbon.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I feel better, so much better after I write than after waking up from a fifth of bourbon.
I mean, I bet. I hope.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Tell it.
Can I ask, like, did your, like, did you find any difference in, like, was it easier to write drunk off your ass, or did you, you know what I'm saying, or did you like lose steam after you quit drinking, or, you know, because
I hate to say this, but when I've been drinking, I swear words just fall out of my mouth like so easy.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but when it's just like I get loose.
Yeah.
And it just falls out. I can just, man, if I could write like that sober, I mean, I have no desire to just dive off headfirst into a fifth of bourbon just to write, because that's not the right answer.
No, of course
But
not.
man, like, I guess it's, you know, you get loose and you lose all inhibitions, and
Yeah.
you know, you don't really care what you say, like what's offensive and what's not offensive.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's the rhymes, man, the cadences, the whatever, you know, they just, but then sober me comes back and I can clean it up and make it not so offensive, and
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm like,
What are they? There's some quote. It was like, you write fucked up, you edit sober.
yeah, well, there's that.
No.
But I also, you know, sober loses a little bit of the edge. That
Like-
I think that you're trying to, you know, it doesn't cut.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the point.
That was a big fear of mine, because I'm now over a year sober from alcohol,
That's awesome.
but I do have to specify that I did not have an issue. It was just I had a bad night, and I was like, I'm
done
gonna
with
take
that.
a break,
Yep.
and then I just compiled into over a year sober. But
That's good stuff, though.
so I don't want anybody to think that I'm like trying to,
Yeah.
you know, be like, oh, I have a problem too.
Well,
But,
you know, my dad, you know, he'd drink a fifth of Wild Turkey 101 and chase it with Budweiser every drink. You know, he'd have Budweiser in one hand, Bud Heavy, and 101 in the other hand, and
yeah,
he drank pretty heavy, like heavy. And when he was going through all his cancer stuff and, you know, living in my house, he watched me kill a fifth of bourbon one night, not even a day. He just watched me kill a fifth in a matter of a couple of hours.
yeah.
And he said, that's scary. And I said, what? He said, I've never seen anybody that can drink a fifth like that, like I do. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
And I think it was at that moment I'm like, I've watched him do this my whole life, and I've never appreciated it. And that was kind of, I mean, there was some wrecked trucks in there too, you know, some buried in ponds, and
Oh boy.
yeah, you know, and you know, it was just one of those things where, well, I hit a tree one night, and it was kind of a good eye opener.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not because somebody told me I needed to. It was just this isn't going to end well. I got to start making some changes. And it just coincidentally happened about the same time I was getting plugged in with Wounded Warrior Project and was starting to fix my crap anyway.
This is gonna sound kind of not cruel, but like if you believe in God, do you think? Because there's this thing when somebody hits a tree, it's like, was that tree waiting for you? You know what I mean? Did God put that tree there for a reason? You know what I mean? I don't know what your religious beliefs are now, but I always have to explore that for some reason because I'm 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 not a Christian, but I do believe in like I don't want to say determinism, but I do have like I think the universe is a funny way of giving us what we need.
Sure. Well, you know, um, I'm very much a Christian and very firm in my faith. And, you know, I was talking about that song Memories that I wrote. Lost one of my best friends in 2012 to a car wreck. And I have had a duck hanging from my mirror ever since. And I've always, you know, I've always just kind of joked, you never fly faster than your guardian angel, or never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly. And I've always said that that duck was Zach, my guardian angel.
Yeah.
And by keeping it on my mirror, he's always just a little ahead of me. Right?
Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah, I always said that was always my joke anyway, was never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly. And by keeping him right there, he's just a little ahead of me, and I'm good. Well, I was good that night. So,
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah, I apologize if that sounded like a weird
No.
question.
Like, buddy, I got thick skin. You're not.
I know. I just sometimes whenever I have a genuine curiosity, I don't. It's like coming out as I'm thinking it. You know what I mean?
Man.
So I don't know how to word it. So I'm afraid it'll come across weird. Or
Look, I'm a weird kind of guy.
yeah.
I've embraced it a long time ago.
Well, that's good because I mean, I just yeah. It's like I said. I always have to think about that because you know certain things in my life will happen. Like you know, like we like tour fairly at least you know 2 or 3 times a year and never does it go accordingly. It's always something like a flat tire or a ball joint just fell out of the socket, like it just busted and we just into the dirt. And it's like every time that happens, and sorry audience, but I mention this fairly often, but every time something like that happens, it makes me believe in God more.
Yeah.
And then you come to that realization that it's like you're a musician. Like if you're a musician, you almost have to. It's stupid to not believe in God if you're a musician because it's such a powerful thing and a powerful force that it's like you were given this talent or this ability to do something from something. Like, you know, there's and I've mentioned this before on the show, but it's like there's that like the concept of like we're not. Willie Nelson always said that musicians, singers, and songwriters are the mouthpiece of the gods, and it's like I feel like there's something at play every time my life has been put into danger. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like, and I come out of it on the other side. I'm like, I think, was that meant to happen?
Yeah.
Or was I meant to be put through that? It's
Right.
like, and my parents are Christians, and my mom always is like, well, God's not going to give you more than you can handle, and it's like every day because I am like skeptical of a lot of things, but every time my mom says that, I'm like, I'm gonna end up believing, and I'm gonna believe this at some point. You know what I mean? Because it is. It's very heavy thing, and God is hard for some people to wrap their head around for some reason.
You know, that's a whole nother conversation that can get real deep, real fast.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so many facets. You know, vengeful God, loving God, angry God, all so many facets. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, because we don't have to get too in depth in it, but I had a buddy a long time ago. My buddy, he was getting married, and you know everybody puts that like Facebook post up about like what's happening in their life or whatever, and his like wife that he was about to, or his fiance that he was about to marry, put up this thing, and she's like, I've never met such a God-fearing man, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like, why are you supposed to fear God? You know what I mean? I just don't understand that concept. That's something I'm still struggling to understand. I don't know why. But yeah, that's a conversation for another time, I guess. I don't know. We're getting totally. Nah, man. But I don't even know what time it is either. So.
Let's see. 8:17.
Oh shit! All right. Well, well, I guess we can wrap this up. I feel like there was a better note to end on this, but we're here and it's happened. But and you could definitely I'll definitely have you back at some point.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
We can talk about
fun.
God then.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just kidding. I mean, we can. I don't care. But yeah. I have I got one more or something before we.
Oh,
wrap
I'm just
up here?
scrolling to see if there's anything else. Let's see if there's anything that. Oh, you know what? I did write one the other day. I started one. To most folks, I'm nobody. Most folks ain't nobody to me. I wrote that in that way specifically, on purpose though. To most folks, I'm nobody. Most folks ain't nobody to me. My circle's getting smaller. These days, I'm keeping less company. The older I get, the more that's the way I prefer it to be. May not have all that I want, but Lord, I have all that I need. A beautiful wife and our children and a couple of dogs that I feed. The older I get, the more that's the way I prefer it to be.
Well, I think you saved the note that we're going to end on. You fucking
Bring it back around for you.
yeah. After I ruin it, no, I'm just kidding. But guys, I will say thank you, Jason Golden, for being here.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure, buddy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
You're always welcome back. I definitely want you to come back because you do a lot of the work for me, and you're just
Gift of gab, man.
You're good. Yeah, there's been a couple people I've had on here, and they know who they are, and they know exactly who I'm talking about. But they're very hard. They're not very talkative folks, so I have to
pulling teeth.
Pry at them. Yeah, but it's fun because I know them and we're friends. But I'm just like, come on, dude, give me something.
That's good stuff.
But no, I really appreciate I really appreciate you being here because this show, I know it's not it's not Howard Stern or Joe Rogan, but it's you're helping it along, you're helping build it, and I really appreciate you telling your story because this is ultimately not about. I mean, this episode is about you. You're the guest. You're on here, but it's ultimately about everybody
absolutely,
in the
man.
world. And I think that your story and your insights about music and just life in general and being a human being are going to be hopefully helpful to a lot of others, a lot of other people out there that are struggling.
Well, so we started the jam night at Bowtown Brewery last year, the fourth Thursday of every month. So that's coming up this week, this Thursday. Hopefully,
I should be
there.
there. I should
That'd be
be
awesome,
there.
man. Love to have you.
Yeah.
But that's really what that's all about. Is giving people a place to be. Folks like me.
Yeah.
It's. I think I told you. It's kind of like church. You need a congregation. You need like-minded folks that you can be with and be around and just tool around on your guitar, your instruments of choice.
Absolutely.
And it's not like I don't have it set up like an open mic night where you come and sign up and you have your 5, 10, 15 minutes of fame. It's the whole point and idea and goal is to make it feel like you're sitting on your buddy's porch or backyard around a campfire or something like that, where it's la-di-da-di, everybody just come and hang out and have a good time. Very unstructured, very friendly, very welcoming environment. And that's the goal. And if anybody ever comes and doesn't feel that way, please let me know so that I can address it.
I mean, I met you there, and I will say that if you are, anybody out there does live in the Lebanon area and does decide to come, it'd be the jam to come to, because I've been to a lot of jams in my life where it's very cliquey and there's a sign up and they're very not like strict about like we want you to play this, but they're like you get this amount of time or this many songs, you know, or
Right.
and they're very like they're not welcoming.
Right.
You
No,
know?
that's absolutely not what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and what I'm getting at is like I met you for the first time there, and we didn't know each other at all, and you were extremely welcoming, and me being the noob, you know, of the group, and everybody was very very
I think
kind.
I actually called you. I'm like, hey.
Yeah. Well, I went. They have one on Sundays now too. Did you know that? Or they're trying, I think, to do one on Sundays as well. And it's that Chili.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's. I don't know if he's like the dude, but there was like maybe like 5 people there, but it was still. I went there yesterday just to check it out and see. Honestly, I thought you were gonna be there, and I.
Yeah,
But,
Brian messaged me, and we're supposed to be getting together at some point and figuring it all out.
Yeah. But I went there, and I mean, it was. I think they had it a little more structured there. I think, but and I don't know if you know Jeremiah Levi Sharples. That's actually his JLS Luthier Works.
Nice.
But he was there, and he's the one that was like, "Hey, a couple of us are playing up here if you want to come."
Cool.
I don't think it's like solidified yet or anything. I think it's literally just like, "Hey, a couple of us need a place to fucking just hang out."
Yeah, that's kind of what me and Brian had talked about before. We were going to do I think we had talked about doing a showcase on Sundays once a month.
Yeah.
That's going to be more like an open mic style.
Yeah.
So I'm not real sure. Like, I haven't had a chance to get down there yet.
Yeah.
We're remodeling a house around ourselves, getting ready for a baby and everything else. So, we're trying to. I just hadn't had a good chance to get down there. I think they've only been doing it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's. I think. What was it? Maybe last week. Jeremiah messaged me, but I was out of town doing shows and stuff, so I wasn't able to make it. But I think that was like the first time. Like, I think this time yesterday was like the second one.
Gotcha.
So I was like, I'm free.
He
might as well go and see what's
he
up.
He messaged me and said, "Hey, can you? Are you available?" And I said, "Oh, not today."
Yeah. But I'm. Either way, it's a welcoming spot.
Absolutely.
And
I'm excited, man. To have 2 options.
mm-hmm.
You know, like a very relaxed jam night and the showcase or whatever we decide to do on Sunday.
Because I think both, I think both formats are important for a musician to grow. Like for instance, just speaking from my perspective, I'm not like. I play music. Like I go out and I play shows and stuff. I don't need a showcase.
Right.
I know that kind of sounds shitty. There's people that need it more than I do.
Sure.
Because I already have like a outlet for that.
Right.
What I don't have an outlet for is the ability to just go tuck my amp in the back row and just sit and learn from everybody else's style.
Just kind of tool around.
Yeah. That's what I don't have. Like,
And I've learned so much more that way than any other way.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's we've had some younger, like high school age kids come in with their parents a couple of times to the jam night, and their parents are like, "Oh man, this is awesome! Love this." And I've told them, I don't know if they're taking lessons or not, but if they are, wonderful. This is another great avenue to just sit and learn, watch.
Oh yeah.
For them to sit and see what their fingers are doing, where they're not so structured, and just watch, listen, and learn, and be unencumbered, and just be able to hang out.
Yeah.
And go.
There's a difference between practicing and playing.
Absolutely.
And it's important for people to sharpen that because there is like a learning curve between playing alone in your bedroom to playing on stage with other people. There's like a massive loss in translation kind of thing. It's
It's
like,
so different.
because somebody can sit there and shred in their bedroom all day, but then you put them with the actual beat
Man,
and like the human
I
pull.
play so much better by myself at home when nobody's listening.
Yeah.
Just ask me, I'll tell you.
Yeah, there's just a thing between another buddy of mine. It was like we'd all be legends if we played like we did in our bedroom.
That's absolutely right, man.
Because that's a big struggle for me. I'm like, man, what am I doing? What am I doing differently?
That's right.
You know, but
That's right.
it's the pressure. The pressure is what you need.
Yeah.
Man, like I was saying, it's like me specifically not necessarily needing a showcase, but there's people out there that it's like you need that spotlight on you, but also you need that second format where you can just sit
Right.
and fiddle around and you're the accompaniment.
That's
You
right.
need to experience both,
That's
being
right.
the accompaniment and being the front man.
That's
know,
right.
like, and yeah, so I get what you're saying, that both of those formats are
Mm-hmm. So, like I
important.
said, I'm excited to have both, and very thankful to Brian and Bowtown for giving us the space and allowing us to do that. Just want to be good stewards.
Absolutely.
Of the room.
Yeah, and I think you're doing it, man. I think you are. But guys, I think this is a good stopping point. So, like I said, thank you, Jason, for being here, and thank you for doing your part for the community too, and sharing your story and whatnot. I do have a mantra for the show. I say this at the end of every show, so if you're watching, you know it. But it's we're going to live with cause, and we are going to leave the results to the great law of the universe. We're going to pass each day in peaceful contemplation, patient, and all the while remaining present in the moment. So that means go outside, touch some grass, hug a tree, pet your wife, kiss your dog, whatever you're going to do. Do it after this episode, though.
That's right.
But stay tuned for another episode, and without further ado, we just brought to you Art of the Jam.
Word.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, Jason, again.
you.
I can't
Appreciate
say
you
it
having me.
enough.